Hi, welcome to the Lone Star Dowsers. I'm Mary Lindsay Wilson, and my intention is to educate and inspire you to use these tools and information that you see on our program. And I am so excited that we have Tam Veilleux with us all the way from Maine. She's a really remarkable person. We just connected instantly. She's a teacher, a healer, an artist. She is a cardologist. She's an astrologer. She's a I'm going to call her a guide. She helps people go through personal and professional changes. She's got a great sense of humor. She's her wit and her wisdom, her art, astrology, and energy psychology. And what she feels her superpower is to simplify and simplify change for people, which I think we all need. And I almost called her really like a cosmic translator. She can take dense information and make it very digestible. She's quite accomplished. She has written multiple books. She publishes the Energy Almanac. This is, I think, her seventh year to do this. And you can get it in print. You can also get it online. It's 52 weekly astrological insights and holistic resources. It says now it's in its 8th year. So, yeah, this is year 8. So, anyway, a lot of good information, which we're going to kind of touch on tonight. She's written a children's book, multiple ebooks, some self-help publications, lots of things. Let me see. Am I missing anything? She's transformational coach by day, astrology groupie by night. She also has a newsletter that you can join on called choosebigchange.com. And I'm sure there's more, and we'll just jump in. Welcome, Tam.
Thank you for all of that, Mary. It really is a pleasure to be here. I so appreciate the invitation to talk to your group of wonderful people.
Well, I think I found you through what the I don't know, East Coast dowsing group.
Yes, right.
Um, so you want to tell us a little bit about your dowsing practice or how you kind of connect dowsing to all the things that you
Sure.
do?
Well, oh boy, here it is. So always handy, right? You guys all know you always keep it handy. I've been on my energy journey, if you will, for I don't know, probably since 1999, I guess. And really started heavily dowsing in the early 2000s and just kind of when you go through your own dark night of the soul, it just you go in all different directions seeking answers. That's what happened for me anyway. um, Dowsing was just one of the many tools that I used as I was growing my knowledge of how does energy work, how does it relate to my thinking processes, how does it relate to my body and my healing processes, and on and on. Dowsing is a subtle energy. Astrology is a subtle energy. Our thoughts are energies and magnets. Our bodies put off energy. Everything is just energy anyway. Dowsing is just another level of that. I'm going to talk about astrology, which is about your psyche. It's an energy that lands in your psyche. These planetary energies.
Yeah, well, thanks. The So you want to just give us a little more background on how I mean, was astrology part of your journey to in this dark night of the soul and your
If you really want to hear something silly, I am the reluctant astrologer. I did not choose astrology. Astrology chose me. Back in 2018, I was sort of in a crisis, a career crisis. I was a transformational coach. I'd helped lots and lots of people, and I was getting weighted down with the work. And being that I've been creative my entire life since I was a little girl, I was literally praying every night to God, like, please return me to my creativity. I was painting a little and drawing a little and sketching a little, but I really wanted a project that was creative. And so one day I went to a meeting with a girlfriend. I knew that she was going to invite me to illustrate her children's book. I thought it was the thing I'd been praying for, right? I was like, woohoo, I'm finally going to go for this meeting. This is going to be amazing. I get to the meeting at her office, and she basically said to me, Tam, your business wants to talk to you. And I said, what? What do you mean about my business wants to talk to me? I had no idea that she was a channeler. We had been friends for 10 years. I had known this lady, had no clue that she was a channeler. She goes, sit down, your business wants to talk. And so I sat down with a clipboard. I took 9 pages of notes over 90 minutes. She said, you're going to write a book. It's going to be about astrology, and it's going to be this, this, and this, and you're going to do that, that, and that. And the whole time I was shaking my head. I will not. No, 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 no. This is not for me. I mean, I know that I'm a Virgo, but that's about it. Oh no, you're going to do this, and here's how you're going to do it. By the way, don't do anything with this idea for 12 weeks. So I'm supposed to sit on my busy, busy, busy hands for 12 weeks and let this whole idea fester that I'm going to be an astrologer. So I did what every mature professional woman would do. I straight up put my face in my hands and cried like a baby. And I did. I cried and I cried and I cried for weeks. And then I had a series like of undeniable synchronicities that basically said, okay, you're going to write the damn book. And so I did. This beautiful thing right here is the Energy Almanac. It comes with a coil binding. And this is 52 weeks of astrology predictions that I wrote. I went from 2018, I am not going to do this, to 8 books. And last year it was a bestseller on Amazon. About 3 weeks ago, it hit the bestseller for almanacs and in Amazon this year. So that was kind of exciting. It's not, it has fallen a little bit now, but either way, successful book that people in Australia, New Zealand, Germany, France, gosh, you name it. I've sent this book all over the world, Canada, of course, and all of the 50 states. I am the reluctant astrologer. And really what the key was for me was like after listening to all these astrologers, and I kept interviewing them because I knew I wasn't going to be able to write it myself the first year, not out of the gate, no way. I kept listening to these astrologers and I'm like, why do they talk up here like I know what I'm doing? They need to talk to me down here as a beginner because I was a beginner, like for real. So I really honed in on my Virgo skill of disseminating information and simplifying it and making it really practical. And so my book, my 52 weekly astrology predictions are written in layman's terms that everybody can apply. I developed my own system for how to learn astrology. I sell an online course for learning astrology at your own pace. And that's what I do. It's been a remarkable, crazy journey to astrology.
Wow. Reluctant astrologer, I get it. Well, so without further ado, you want to kind of, I think we all feel, or I'll speak for myself, but I've talked to a lot of other people that we feel like there's just going to be a lot of big change in 2026 from what we've just experienced. And the year of the fire horse is coming up, so it already feels like it's fast. I've been in this like clean, organized purge, like hurry and get that stuff done mode, and because it's sort of like you're not going to have time for this later. It's just sort of what it feels like.
Really good picking up the energy. That's exactly right. I have lots to share. I'll just get to it. I can share my screen whenever you're ready, if you don't mind.
Yeah. And if folks have questions, put it in the chat and I will relay that to Tam. And also, she's going to leave a few minutes um, at the end that we can ask plenty of questions.
Perfect. Okay. So one of the things about me is I always am trying to make things fun. One of the things that I value is fun. And so I try to keep things light. I call this my Astro Inklings talk. This is an astrological look at the year ahead. I am a teacher, a healer, an artist. I should say reluctant astrologer, but really I can call myself an astro junkie. And what I'm going to talk about tonight are all of these things: numerology, key transits, eclipses, themes, important changes, a key conjunction happening next month, Venus retrograde, and then some resources. I good Virgo, I do try to stay mindful of the time, so I'll keep us on track. It will feel fast. This might feel like a bit of a fire hose, and I apologize for that. Part of it is my nature, Sag rising with Mars conjunct my Sag. So I have a million excuses why I go fast. It's how I'm wired. And so don't be afraid. I guess these are recorded. I think they're put up on YouTube. Don't be afraid to go back and listen again and take more notes. Or please just get on my newsletter, because every week I write a newsletter. It comes out every Tuesday, and it will give you a snippet of astrology information that you can digest. So here we go. Let's get right into it. And we're going to talk about the numerology first. So for those of you who are wondering, illustration is just so much fun for me. I love it. And it's what I was doing at the time that I was praying to figure out my next life thing. Drawing little sketches like this really lights me up. If I were to ask all of you, if you had endings or big changes in 2025, raise your hand. But almost everybody is going to raise their hands. 2025 was straight up clunky. I try to always give like a phrase that you could use for the year as your guide, and I couldn't come up with it in 2025. I'm like, the only word I can say is it's going to be clunky. Now, looking at the number 9, you can see right here with my pointer 2017, 18, 19, all the way up around till we got to 2025. The number 9 is about culmination or endings or finishing, but it's also about bringing that wisdom with you on the journey. The last cycle, if you will, began in 2017, and it went all the way up and around to 2025. So a lot of doors may have closed in 2025, and that was extremely intentional. So let's talk about 2026. And I love that Mary said, like, it already feels fast. Well, heck yes. Let's look at the math. My new favorite word is mathing. I'm making it into a verb, and I do like to make up my own words. We're going to call it mathing. I'm studying cardology, and it's a lot of math. Before we look at 2026, let's look at the fact that we're in the 21st century, and the number 21 in and of itself can stand alone. The number 21 is about truth telling. We are in a 1,000-year period of hearing the truth, learning the truth, perhaps even relearning. The number 21 stands for truth telling. Now, we're currently in the 2000s. The number 2 in and of itself is about peace and harmony. If you have two individuals and they come together and form the number 2, they're coming together in peace and harmony. Now, the zeros are beautiful. These always represent sort of consciousness, God energy. So here's 3 zeros, the mystical number 3. If you take a 0 and look at it, it looks like this. But if you tip it up and you put it sort of over your head, it's kind of like a beam of light coming over us. So imagine these 3 beams of light hovering over the 2. And it's like illuminating peace over us. So the 2000s can be a long period of peace. Fingers crossed, we are entering through that. We're beginning to step our feet into it. We're finding our feet with it, is what I should be saying. And now we look at the numbers 2026. And here's how you do that math. We're going to do some mathing. 2 plus 0 plus 2 is 4, plus 6 equals 10. And so up here at the top, 10. We are in a 10 year. And what does that mean? You can reduce the 10 to 1. 10 plus 0 equals 1. And you could say, okay, we're in a 1 year. But the truth is, a 10 can stand alone. That 0 is beautiful God energy. It's light. It's illuminating. What is it illuminating? The 1. the individual. If you look at that one as a column of light, at the top, the light comes in, you ground it through the third eye into your throat, your heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, the root, and then you ground it in, right? You just ground it in. So there's information coming in at the top, and it's coming right down in through the column of light that you are. So it represents the individual. But what is the number one when you're initiating a list of numbers? It's the fresh start. 1, 2, 3, 4. The number one comes first. So it's starting something. So it's a year of starting with God energy. It's a year of initiating quickly. It's a year when God energy is with you, that information comes in and it lands quickly, and your intuition is on fire. It's a year of manifestation. So if you are truth telling down here, whether your truth is right or wrong, you can be sure you will manifest it. If you're thinking of a peanut butter sandwich, you can be sure there will be one for dinner that night. If you are, it doesn't matter. Our thoughts are things, and the proof will be in the pudding this year when you are instantly manifesting what you are talking about. And there is the numerology for 2026. It's a year of new beginnings. And if you're going to remember sort of an overarching theme for 2026, I would say fresh starts. Like, this is a turning point kind of year. Last year we wrapped things up. This year we start over. We start fresh. I think that's kind of exciting considering geopolitics and the ways of the world. I think it's exciting to think that maybe we could start something new. And you don't mind if I throw in my opinions here and there. And remember, like, I love to say this. I'm not the end all be all around astrology. That's for sure. Every astrologer that you're listening to, you are listening to through their filter. I tend to be optimistic. Sagittarians have a way of wearing rose-colored glasses. In fact, these are rose-colored glasses. And I like to be hopeful and optimistic. So every astrologer you're listening to, remember that you are hearing, learning, listening through their own personal filter. So let's talk about the astrology. And the first thing that I want to talk about, I gotta move something here. There we go. The first thing that I want to talk about is that we have not started the new year yet. We have, of course, for the calendar year started, but the calendar year does not run on our natural rhythm. So really, your new year begins on or around March 19th or 20th. For 2026, it starts on the 20th, on the spring equinox. And if you think about what you do in March, especially in the warmer climates, you plant seeds. So that's when the new year begins. You plant seeds, gather what you need, you branch out, you protect them, bloom them, all the way through, on and on and on and on, until your harvest is complete. You distribute your harvest, and then you rest and dream into the new year. So your real and true cycle that is in alignment with nature is March to March. And so for the first year ever, the Energy Almanac, this book here, runs from March to March, okay? And that is purposeful so that everybody can really return to natural cycles. Whoop. There we go. All right. Now, first, I want to tell you what we missed. Today is January 21st, 2026. And we just went through a Capricorn conjunction and an Aquarius stellium. The Aquarius stellium is actually just building right now. I noticed that I forgot to change the dates here. The stellium is building right about now. First, Capricorn. If early in January you felt the urge to put a foundation under your world, whether it's career, life, health, whatever, if you were feeling the urge to plan and have a structure, it's because we had these three planets building that energy. They were all shoulder to shoulder, working together, hooking arms to to be businesslike in all of your pursuits. And so this little guy in the center is the sun. The sun is you. It's how you radiate your personal warmth. No matter what your zodiac sign, the sun always represents you. In the bigger outer world, it represents leaders. This over here, this little Marilyn Monroe character is Venus. Venus is the planet of love and beauty and abundance. You see, she's got her little heart in her hand and she's got money here. Marilyn Monroe, there's Venus. And here's Mars. Mars is the cosmic athlete. Wherever Mars is, there's an extra push of energy. Think of him as that captain of the team who's ready to go, ready to push. But when you put all of these little characters into a three-piece business suit, they're down to business. It's the business of relationships. It's setting a foundation under relationships. It's your personal desire to be grounded, have silence, because Capricorns love silence. They don't mind working alone. Put the three-piece business suit onto Mars, and now you have the impetus to take action in your business. You have the desire to go after your goals. That's what was going on early in January. But bing, bang, boom, this week, as a matter of fact, these planets changed outfits. The zodiac signs are represented in my system as outfits, and this is how you remember them. Capricorn is all business, but Aquarius is about the future. So here you have a spacesuit for an Aquarian person. Venus in Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius, Mercury, our little journalist student, in Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius, and officially now the sun is also in Aquarius. 5 planets, all wearing the futuristic, friendly, rebellious, humanitarian loving Aquarian sign. So it's entirely possible over the past couple of days, and it will build a little bit. It'll build over the next week or so. This desire to plan for the future, to think about humanitarian efforts. It's about, if it's good for me, it's good for we, it's good for the group. If you're having the desire to gather in tribes, much like we're on this call this evening, this is Aquarian energy, and all of these planets are here working in that direction. The bigger one that we're going to talk about is Pluto, the little Tasmanian devil, being in Aquarius, but we'll talk about that in a minute as we progress through the months. That's January for you. And since we're toward the end of January already, let's jump into the big news of 2026. And that is this conjunction that's going to happen precisely on February 20. What we're talking about are 2 slow moving planets who have a societal impact on us. On my left over here is Neptune, and Neptune is the very, very powerful ruler of faith, intuition, inspiration. He's about your visioning, your power to like use your third eye and vision. Neptune rules all of that, and he's very much a powerful, powerful planet. And he is wearing the football uniform of Aries. Football uniform, meaning Neptune is ready to address everything Aries, everything powerful and go-getting and dynamic. Aries is the sign of autonomy. I am. When they're the first zodiac sign in the zodiac, they're the first sign. And so if you think of a baby, when they first come out, they're firstborn. It's all about them. It's all me. They're the great I am of astrology. Neptune is asking everybody to imagine and have faith in your self, your capacity to be okay in your own skin, your capacity to say, here I am and I'm okay. Aries also rules leadership and leading. They're a fire sign. Aries is a fire sign. And so Neptune is taking this fire energy, Neptune is water, adding fire energy and giving you the steam to go through and burn through your troubles and become this leader that you want to be, and to have this spiritual flavor, these spiritual practices with it. Okay, Neptune and Aries, spiritual leadership, imagining yourself powerful and autonomous. There we go. And he's going shoulder to shoulder with Saturn. I like to call Saturn the cosmic thumb. He's always applying pressure wherever he is. Saturn in your chart is where you're going to find karmic lessons. I like to think of Saturn as sort of like a stern grandfather in the corner of the room. He wears a timepiece, he's got a clipboard, he wants structure and order. He would like you to have a plan. He's very much about, like, let's be serious about this, right? What is he doing? What is he wearing? What is his costume? Saturn is in Aries as well. He's wearing the football uniform. Saturn in Aries is asking us to have discipline. Be disciplined about changing how you feel in your own skin. Be disciplined about having autonomy. Add structure to your life. Understand that there might be karmic lessons as it relates to the way you lead. Maybe because with astrology, you're always talking about many, many possibilities. There's probably 15 different words associated with Saturn, and there's probably 15 words associated with Aries. You can mix and match those two sets of words to come up with all the many possibilities, right? So here's what we know for sure. Saturn and Neptune are both wearing the same costume, and they are going to join hands like this, and they're going to work together over the next many months of 2026. This conjunction is big, big news. So you add foundational discipline, right timing, tradition. You take all Saturn ideas and you marry it with Neptune ideas. We're going to add faith. We're going to add spirituality. We're going to add power because Neptune is so powerful. We're going to take all of that and we're going to influence everything Aries. How you lead, how you respond. Aries tends to be very reactive. Will you respond or will you react? Neptune is going to, and Saturn are going to address leadership, and you know that they're going to affect leaders. So at the mundane level, you're going to watch geopolitically, even at work, anywhere there's a leader, you're going to see them working toward planning, working toward, let's imagine this big thing. Let's use our strong vision and let's implement some spirituality as we move forward. It's a very, very exciting conjunction that's going to last for several months into 2026, into the fall. So where Aries is in your personal chart, no matter which house it's sitting in, you yourself will be affected. We'll talk about that again later. I want to talk about eclipses because every year, eclipses are your turning points. No matter what year it is, it doesn't matter which sign or zodiac the eclipse falls in, they're turning points. Always, always, you can count on some kind of big change to occur. So on February 17th, we have the first eclipse for 2026. It's a new moon solar eclipse at 28 degrees Aquarius. So what that translates to, if I'm to simplify it for you, I would suggest, first of all, I want to talk about 28. The number 28 inside of astrology is what they call an anaretic degree. In layman's terms, it's an important karmic level degree inside of astrology. It means big lessons, big turning points. A 28 degree eclipse in Aquarius. So new moons means we're initiating, we're starting something new. Aquarius is about, again, humanitarianism, everything that is digital. It rules your intuition. It's great for channeling. Aquarius is about technology and AI. Aquarius is about how you work with groups. If you have been contemplating joining a group or starting a group under this new eclipse, perfect timing to really start that process. If there is a digital project you've been considering, this is going to be a nice time to start this. Now, it's entirely possible February 17 is going to happen and you might get a download. You just like might bring in and finally land a new idea that will affect your future, because Aquarians are future oriented. So your instructions, your homework is to find your astrology chart online. My favorite one is astro-charts.com. Fill in your birth information, pull up your chart, and look for the word that says Aquarius. Whichever house it's sitting in, Aquarius, that's where change is going to happen for you. And that's where you're likely to notice this energy popping up. Now we're into March of 2026, and we're going to talk about the second eclipse. Eclipses always happen roughly 2 weeks apart. Now, this eclipse is going to be reminiscent of the eclipse that happened in September of 2025. So think back. What started to shift in late September last year? That big eclipse was a new moon solar eclipse at that time. There's always a follow-up to it, and here it is in March. Something is wrapping up now. This is 12 degrees. 1 + 2 = 3, happening on March 3rd. March is the third month. This is a 333 activated, that's not a word, I just made up a word, activated moon. So 3 is the number of creation, which I find very interesting. So Virgo is the sign of, I use a lab coat to represent Virgo. They're very exacting. Virgos are people, they care about health. So this looks like a medical lab coat. They care about holistic health. They're very much of service to others. They're always looking for ways to be productive and to do better and to help somebody else. They're the sign of the helper. Virgo is very analytical as well. They have a very, very busy frontal lobe. And they love to look at the details. So I've drawn in this little monocle because he's really getting close and looking at information. So under a full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, you might be discovering what to release, what's in the way of you helping other people, what is in the way of your health being everything it could be or should be. Maybe it's about, why am I so analytical? Why am I so judgmental? Anything Virgo is what you can look at and hope to release. And I say hope, but a dream without a plan is just a wish. So if something becomes illuminated for you under this eclipse, like, oh, wow, maybe I've been too over analytical in this area of my life, well, you can commit to releasing it under this Virgo moon, and like every good Virgo, have a plan to take care of that situation. Virgo is also very pragmatic. Practical steps are one of their things. So all of these topics are on hand. Remember, a full moon is about releasing. Okay, this is kind of exciting. March 11th, we're going to talk about Jupiter stationing direct. Jupiter is, I don't know why I didn't put the little character. Jupiter is you would think of Jupiter as like your favorite middle school teacher. Jupiter loves to show you your expansive opportunity. Jupiter cheers you on. Again, rose-colored glasses for sure. Jupiter loves to be hopeful and optimistic and show you the horizon and how far you can go. Think about that favorite teacher that was cheering you on in middle school. That's Jupiter. Now, Cancer is the zodiac sign represented by a fluffy little house coat or bathrobe. So Cancer loves home. They love security and safety. They would just as soon stay home and paddle around in their little bunny slippers and feel all the feels. They're very deeply emotional, love to nurture. And by the way, they're also very, very intuitive. Um, Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer makes all of us highly emotional. It also is a period of strong intuition. Jupiter expands, Cancer is intuitive. Now imagine just channeling and channeling and intuiting and intuiting. I know for me, I feel like the answers are just coming fast, fast, fast. And I'm sure for all of you, it's the same. Jupiter has been on a slow roll backwards. He's been retrograde for a few months. I think since, hold on, this is January. I think he went retrograde in October. So it's kind of been a little bit slow. Cancer, by the way, rules home life. So if things have been sort of quiet at home in March, Jupiter will station direct and everything related to home will begin to pick up. Nurturing, the urge to nurture, all that stuff will come back in full force. And here's a short story about how astrology works. Last summer, my husband and I decided to build a new home. How perfect. We decided not long after Jupiter stationed, Jupiter went into Cancer. We're like, hey, let's build a house. Yeah. Okay, so we start the process. We get a foundation built. We have, the builders here. October comes, Jupiter rolls backwards, goes retrograde. Our building went complete stop, halted completely. The builder had to pull off the job to do something else. And it is today, again, is January 21st. Guess when he's coming back? He'll be here at the end of February. And by March 11th, it'll be full boat. My new house will be built, and I hopefully will be in it before fall. That's the way astrology works. Even if you don't know about it, it's happening for you. So Jupiter will start amplifying home life, intuition, the need for security, and your emotions. Stay aware. You are more emotional than normal. March 19th, I think I called it the 20th. March 19th for 2026, March 20th for 2027. The spring equinox is the first day of the new year every single year. Excuse me while I take a drink. I feel my throat burning. So, okay, March 19th, we have the spring equinox, and here we are planting seeds. So here in January right now, I'm telling you, be thinking about your future, be visioning into the future, tap into your Neptune in Aries. Where do you want to lead in 2026? Who do you want to be? And can you be okay in your own skin? Be thinking about this. Because when March 19th rolls around, now you can really plant seeds. Now you can really start in earnest your calendar year, okay? Because in April, it's going to be incredible. Mary mentioned at the beginning of this call the year of the fire horse. And I relate the fire horse to Aries energy. This is go time, right? That fire horse is fast moving, full of energy, and it's just going to ignite you. And in April, the astrology agrees. We have what's called a stellium in Aries. So that the stellium is down here. Let's talk about all of these planets. This is Saturn. You remember him? He's the cosmic thumb, bringing us lessons. Mercury is your your cosmic Joe Rogan. He is a student slash learner. Mercury loves to think and to communicate. And if you think about what Joe Rogan does, love him or hate him, he's asking questions, looking for answers. He's getting all the details. He's ruminating on it. He's working around those answers, trying to figure it out. Mercury is a communicative planet, wearing the football costume of Aries. Mars, we talked about him. He is the star athlete, team captain, ready to get busy and take action, wearing his favorite football costume. He is the ruler of Aries. So him in a football uniform, he's right at home and he's ready to take action, initiate something. This is the moon, grandmother moon, so emotional and so creative, and she loves, and she's full-hearted, and she loves all of her little children, and she's wearing the football costume of Aries. She is ready to help us take action, get creative, be intuitive, and feel. The sun, this is you. You, the personal leader that you are in your family, that you are at your work, that you are in your church, wherever, in your group. This is you wearing a football uniform, ready to take action. Now, when this many planets, this is 5 of them, I didn't even put Neptune in here. Oh my gosh, this is going to be 6 of them. Neptune, you remember him. Here he is up in the corner. Here he is. Neptune in Aries as well. This is a lot of power. This is 6 planets gathering together. Now you have a football team. Everybody is ready to move forward with bold energy, tons of charisma, because Aries is that charming zodiac sign. They can charm the pants off you, let me tell you that. And you'll be ready. Your seeds have been planted and you are ready now to have some momentum and move forward, and it's going to be really fast. The energy is going to build and it's going to be really, really fast. It'll happen in April, but it's kind of like a bolt of lightning, and it ignites something in us. And although the stellium will break apart over a few days, the energy is there and it's ignited inside of you and you will feel it. I wrote in the language up here, Uranus moves into Gemini, and I'm going to advance the screen. Oh, there it is right there, April 27th. I wasn't sure if it would be there or not. On April 27th, the other big piece of information that's worth noting is Uranus in Gemini. And this is important. So who is Uranus as a planet? If it was a personality, you would think of it as sort of an androgynous tweenager. Uranus is rebellious. Uranus is future oriented, different, unique, happy to be so. Uranus is the planet of sort of revolution. Information comes in and you're like, wow, I didn't see that coming. It's shocking. It's kind of like the Tower card in tarot. So Uranus rules everything AI and digital. It definitely rules the future. It has to do with astrology and cardology. It is sort of like those ancient sciences. It's a very exciting planet to have around. And when Uranus is active in an astrology chart, it really does create change. So Uranus on April 27th leaves, this is leaving Taurus. We'll talk about that in a second. and moving into the sign of Gemini in full. In 2025, we had the experience a little bit we knew Uranus and Gemini, but now full force, this planet will put on a button down suit. So he looks like a student. He's going to have an iPad or a tablet in his hand, and he's going to have a pen and a little journal for writing and asking questions. Uranus is going to enter the arena of Gemini, where it's about asking questions, learning, and digitizing, as well as truth telling and socializing. These are all very Gemini topics. And I want to give you a very, I'll try to be quick as I tell you this story. Uranus has been in Taurus for the last 8 years. I always represent Taurus with overalls, okay? Because Taurians, that Taurus energy is very, very earthy, and it has to do with values and resources. So self-worth and money, right? That's Taurus. They love to be outside. They love to be around nature. In the pocket of Taurus is money, dollar bills, silver coins, gold bars. That's Taurus energy. So Uranus, having to do with the future and digitizing, has been working with our economy. Taurus rules money. Uranus has been trying to get all of us come to cryptocurrencies, come to using these little Apple Pay, come and just use your card and tap your card, and that will work. You don't need to carry this money. Taurus is very traditional. They want to touch things, right? Uranus is very like, let's just do it through the ethers. We can just do it through all the invisible waves. So Uranus was really working to update the economy and bring the economy into the future and digitize it. So it's had its way with us. I'm sure all of you understand that. The money is changing for all of us. Well, now Uranus is like, yep, I did my time there. Let's go into Gemini and see what we can do with education. Isn't it fascinating that Gemini wants us to ask questions? Uranus is going to have us asking questions about the future. Uranus is about AI and everything digital. Maybe we will ask questions of AI. Is this working for us? Are we doing it well or no? How about Gemini being the student and representing education? Uranus is going to change how we learn. Uranus is likely to change the education system. It's entirely possible. Uranus is likely to change how we do social media. I think we are going to find us asking a lot of questions over the next 8 years. And Gemini is one of 2 signs that are about truth telling. Gemini, if you don't know, kind of has this duality sort of aspect to it. One day they think like this, and the next day they think like this. They change their mind a lot, and they're always willing to communicate with you what they're thinking. So today I want you to know it's exactly like this, but tomorrow I want you to know it's exactly like this. And they're telling their truth as they know it, right? The other sign that loves to tell the truth is Sagittarian, and they're different because the Sagittarius is telling you their truth as they believe it. And Gemini is thinking it, but Sagittarians are believing it, and they're 2 different things. Gemini is a social sign. Uranus in Gemini may change the way we socialize. We'll see. It's exciting though. At the end of April, this Uranus and Gemini transit is going to begin its in full 8-year journey through this sign. So, I forgot to tell you my story. My goodness, I'm going to try to be quick. So, I got a letter from the editors of the Farmers Almanac because I'd been writing for them for a few years. And they said that they wanted me to know personally and didn't want me to find out on the news that they were closing their doors. The Farmers Almanac has been in publication for 200 years, right? Very Taurian, very traditional in nature. And in fact, Farmers Almanac is about farming, and the Taurians love gardening, love nature, love having their hands dirty and in the soil. So I went to an event, a large expo in Massachusetts, and I had my table set up, and it says on my sign astrology. So people come up to me, believe it or not, with their cell phone, and they go, "This is my astrology chart. I ran it through Chat GPT. Can you help me to decipher it?" Uranus in Gemini, using your phone, your tablet, your computer to gather information about astrology, right? Uranus in Gemini. So the Farmers Almanac realized that they had been outsmarted by technology. If somebody can type into Chat GPT, please decipher my astrology chart, but they're paying tens of thousands of dollars to produce a book every year, it doesn't make sense anymore as a business model. And so they closed their doors. And it was sad, but it made perfect sense. I feel like the astrology won. The astrology called it out. And this is to me, the proof in the pudding that astrology is happening to you and for you all the time, even when you don't understand it. Okay, May, Pluto retrograde. So I told you we'd talk about Pluto. This is a really important transit that's going on. Pluto is the cosmic Tasmanian devil. So you remember, if you're of a certain age, and I'm not going to name that age, the Tasmanian devil from Warner Brothers comes in and he goes, woo, woo, woo. He comes in like in a storm, tornado really, creates a vortex, and he lands wherever he lands, and he makes a mess, and he sings off, right? Pluto is the planet of transformation. He wants to take out and destroy what's in the way of something better coming in. Pluto most recently had been in the sign of Capricorn. Remember, Capricorn was the three-piece business suit, right? Pluto came in and disrupted all of the traditional big business that we knew. They came in and he destroyed government. He destroyed healthcare as we knew it. Pluto destroyed the education system as we knew it. Pluto came in to take down the industrial complex so that it could be rebuilt with integrity. Pluto took off that three-piece suit last year and put on the futuristic spacesuit of Aquarius. This transit is a beauty, and it is here to bring us into the future. Pluto is going to transform the group. Who is the group? We are. Pluto is here to address humanity. It's here to address technology, AI, things that are digital, how we do energy. Pluto says, Aquarius says, if it's good for me, it's good for we. Pluto wants to make sure that that's true. Pluto wants to be sure that everybody gets clean drinking water. Pluto wants to be sure that it's fair all the way around, because Aquarians care about fairness. Aquarians is about sort of rebellion too, and being unique and being different and being okay in your own skin. Much like that Aries energy of developing autonomy, Aquarian energy is going to support that. So Pluto on May 6th is going to slow its roll and go retrograde on May 6th. And what this is for you is your time to sit back and start asking questions. What am I noticing that is transforming in the bigger outer landscape? And what am I noticing that's transforming inside of me as it relates to Aquarius topics? How am I doing inside of groups? How am I doing with my use of AI and technology and things that are digital? How am I using my own intuition? Because Aquarians, that's invisible waves. That's information pouring in all the time, deeply intuitive sign. Um, am I using my intuition? How do I rebuild it if I turned off my own intuition? So, highly recommend that you block time, maybe a little bit of time in May, maybe revisit the questions in June, July, August. Like, spend time every single month asking yourself deep questions. And in this instance, you're asking about Aquarius and what is transforming. May 31st. And here we have a full blue moon. So a blue moon occurs when there are 3 moons in 1 month. We have one happening in May. I just thought it would be worth mentioning. It is in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarians is that more, again, optimistic, hopeful sign that is about you addressing your belief systems. What have I believed, and does it even serve me? What have I theorized, and does that serve me? So, full moon, right? We're letting go of something. What beliefs have held you back from you exploring something different, a different idea? Maybe even exploring the world. Sagittarian is represented by the sign of the explorer. They are the explorer, excuse me. They are the archer, and their arrow points up. That's what makes them so hopeful and optimistic. And they love to believe the best. But that doesn't always serve. So under this full blue moon in Sagittarian, you want to figure out, what do you need to release? What have you believed for too long? What is holding you back? And what can you change? This is a big one. Chiron entering Taurus. So Chiron is a minor planet that has been working in the sign of Aries. We had been working on healing our leadership wound, healing our I am, our Aries tactics, our willingness to initiate and start things. That's what we had been working on up until June 19th, when Chiron puts on the denim overalls of Taurus. Now, here we have a time period where working on our wound of worthiness. Do you really deserve to have all the money and love that you want? Do you believe that in your heart of hearts? Chiron is going to take you to the test for the next couple of years and help you figure that out. Also going to help you work with money, because Taurus does rule your personal resources. So look for opportunities to heal those within yourself. And I like to say, to remember, everything that happens isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. So keep that in mind, okay? June 30th. Remember I talked about the middle school teacher? Well, there he is. There's your Jupiter. Middle school teacher, expanding your view of the world, cheering you on, making you hopeful. Well, he's taking off the house code of Cancer and addressing home life. And at the end of June, he's taking on a whole new outfit. And you're going to see him dressed a little more, I was going to say flamboyantly, although right now in this instance, he's only wearing a t-shirt, but um, he definitely has a microphone in his hand and some kind of musical instrument, or maybe even a paintbrush. The sign of Leo is where he's going to go. And it's all about that royalty energy. Here I am in the room. See me now. Like, I am Leo. Hear me roar. Jupiter is going to expand expression. Leo is the sign of expression and creative expression and romance, by the way. I should say that as well. I think that's why I put a heart on his t-shirt, because they are the sign of romance. You can have a big cuddle with a lion, right? Jupiter is going to expand probably your creative urges and your childlike energy. Leo loves to play. They are the sign of the child, and the play is You have the right to play. You have the right to express and be creative. If you ever were thinking about being a singer, an artist, a pianist, a dancer, however, whatever your art form is, like this is a great, probably a time period where you're going to really feel those urges. So Jupiter will enter Leo. Did I do? Oh, yeah, July 4th. Okay. And now I picked this transit out. I found it really fascinating because in the United States, at least, we're going to experience our 250th birthday for being a country. And on July 4th, the planet Mars, which is an aggressive planet, they're the action taking planet. Mars is going to uh, conjunct, go shoulder to shoulder with the planet Uranus. And that is some feisty energy. Remember, I told you that Uranus is shocking energy, rebellious energy. We'll add Mars to the picture, both of them wearing that Gemini, questioning things, truth telling moment. That moment in time could be really interesting. My best guess, and this is strictly a guess, is that there's some information coming in on or around the birthday of the United States that could be shocking. And maybe something rises up because of it. I don't know. It's not like me to put fear into people, and that is not my intention, but it's an interesting transit that I think we should keep our eyes open for. July 26th. So these are the two lunar nodes that I'm going to talk about. So the lunar nodes are points on the astrology ecliptic that run in our subconscious as a collective, affecting everybody. They're moon points on the ecliptic. And we each have a personal node, but these are the nodes that are going to affect humanity for the next few years. So the North lunar node always represents your karmic destiny. You have one in your chart. At any point, I could tell you what your karmic destiny is. You can hit me up for a reading if you want one. And your South node is always, what is the karmic lesson? What am I here to overcome? In July, these two nodes change sign, and we are going to finally take on that full Aquarian energy, and the destiny will be for us to feel more humanitarian, more friendly, more digital, more intuitive. I could say more unique. We all are going to stand in our own unique selves and be comfortable with it. And that is our destiny as a collective. I love the idea. I'm going to keep saying it. I love the idea of us all taking care of each other instead of, everybody being out for themselves. What if we all just hold hands and take care of each other, right? I think the possibilities are amazing. The South, what are we here to overcome? And there you have the zodiac sign of Leo, the one who likes to be seen, the one who thinks they're royalty. Leo, we're learning, like, it doesn't have to be all about you. It's okay for it to be all about everyone. You don't have to be so dramatic, and we hear you already, right? So I love that we all have voice. That's really, really important. And it's really important that we hear each other and that we take care of each other. And I think finally, with these lunar nodes changing signs, there's this opportunity that the pull will be stronger here than here. We'll be thinking more about our future and how do we work together peacefully rather than listen to me, just listen to me. It's an interesting point, and it will take time to develop, but here are the astrology advancing that. The second set of eclipses is going to begin on August 12th, and this is again an initiating solar eclipse, so it's starting something, and this time you're going to look for it in the area of Leo. So this is exciting. Again, if you have creative urges, or if you feel playful, or maybe even it's around romance for you, I'm not sure. But this August 12th eclipse is going to trigger something. It's going to be an opening for you. The best thing to do with this, your homework would be to, again, take that chart you pulled, look for the word Leo, or look for, let me go back a screen, look for this sign right here. This is the Leo glyph. Find that in your chart, and then that will tell you which area of life is likely to be affected by this new moon solar eclipse. It could be that you start taking lessons in something creative you've always wanted to do. It could be that you start speaking up more. It could be that romance is finally lit up for you. There's all kinds of different opportunities, but eclipses are worth paying attention to. You could have a journal alone just for eclipse energy. The end of August on the 28th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. I love this. Pisces is such a warm sign. If you know a Pisces, then you know love. I have several. Some of my closest friends are Pisces. They are so compassionate. They're so empathetic. They will cry right alongside with you. They have such big love for the world, and they are the zodiac sign of the dreamers. They're deeply, deeply intuitive, and they love to envision what next for them. Now, mind you, they may never take a step toward it, but they love the dreaming part of their lives. Now, full moon, meaning what are we letting go of, right? So one of the things about Pisces is they tend to be boundless, right? They don't put a boundary on their love. They don't put a boundary on their vision for their life. They don't. They're boundless. Well, maybe if things aren't moving along in your life by August 28th, if that Aries energy hasn't ignited in you yet, well, where do you need boundaries? Where do you need to vision more? What's missing, or what's in your way? What can you release that can advance your dream? So pay attention to the full moon lunar eclipse. Certainly, a door will close. Something will end in the area of Pisces in your life. You need to find out where is Pisces and what door is closing in that time period. And by the way, eclipse energy can last, like the occurrence, like whatever is ending, it could take 2 to 4 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks. But the eclipse energy lasts for 6 months. So this door might close, and then there'll be like a 6-month period, and then the new door will open. So it's this very interesting time period. You're kind of watching 2 to 6 weeks, and then you're kind of over the long haul watching for 6 months. September, remember I told you that Uranus was in Gemini and activating all things digital, curiosity, learning, education. In September, this planet will retrograde. That only means that things will go slower. Technology might even be glitchy during this time period. You want to ask questions of yourself. How am I doing with technology? Am I asking the right questions? How is my learning? Is there something I should learn? It's a time for digging in and asking questions. I want to be mindful of the time. Okay. October 3rd through, I can't see my screen, November 13th. And here, this is an important one because Venus doesn't retrograde very often. Remember that Venus is the Marilyn Monroe of astrology. She's about love, beauty, and money. And in October, she's going to retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is represented by the dark black hoodie because he's all about the mystery. He's very private, keeps things close to the vest, and very, very mysterious. Scorpio is about transformation. So Venus is going to have you looking at relationships that might be transforming. Scorpio also rules other people's money, so debt or joint finances. Venus will have you looking at that during that time period. And then she'll take off the black hoodie and put on her very natural white sequin dress that she looks so beautiful in. That's her home sign. Marilyn loves to wear that white sequin dress. So at that point, You're definitely looking at relationships really closely, looking for balance, looking to create balance inside of relationships, and asking yourself, how am I doing with money? How am I doing with love? Do things seem fair? Am I being codependent? That's a really good question under this retrograde. When Venus is retrograde, never schedule a haircut. There's my warning to you, because she rules beauty. And believe me, I did it once. Oh, good Lord. What a mistake. Okay. Now we're going to go to October 16th. Remember, Pluto was retrograde, kind of slowing down the humanitarian transformation. October 16th, he's going to move forward and things will begin to pick up. November has nothing to mention except National Sandwich Day. And I put that in there because I just love to eat. So there you go. You're welcome. December 10th, Saturn is going to station direct. And Saturn, again, is in that football uniform of Aries. So things kind of slow down in the fall. A lot of the planets are doing a retrograde, which means they're kind of slowing their roll. When things get slow in the fall, just roll with it. Don't pressure things, don't push to start things. When you are in retrograde season, you're always going inward and asking questions. Keep asking questions. So in this instance, have I got a solid plan under my leadership skills? Do I have a foundation under whatever it is I'm initiating? Have I timed things well? What lessons am I learning? Those are all retrograde type questions. At the end of 2026, Saturn is going to station direct, and it's going to start picking up again as you head into 2027. Same thing with Neptune, more energy, more spiritual flair added to your leadership. Your imagination is on fire, and that energy to push forward with that, whatever you initiated, that project, here it comes. I think last but not least, December 21st is solstice. And this is really just about getting into the rhythms of nature. We're natural beings, and nature is where we heal the most. I am highly encouraging all of my audiences to do your rituals, incorporate more spiritual practices, get into rhythm with the solstices and the equinoxes as they occur. December 21st of 2026. Retrogrades, more retrogrades. Mercury is the one that most people understand and look for. Mercury retrograde in February is in the sign of Pisces. Then we have Cancer. Then we have Scorpio. And for all the good, juicy details about these, you're going to have to look further. You can look at my Energy Almanac. And really, each of these seasons this year have specific meaning that are relative to these different zodiac signs. It's really important that you take the time, again, reflect. Am I in alignment? Am I in alignment? Am I in alignment? Ask yourself questions. That's what Mercury does. He has you thinking and analyzing. Most often, Mercury can have you expecting technology issues, communication problems, and travel delays. Your homework is review, reflect, redo, review, replace, renovate, revisit. Anything with an RE is acceptable. Do not start things during Mercury retrograde periods. Especially don't sign contracts or make verbal agreements with anybody. As we head into 2027, double whammy. We're going into an 11 year, and an 11 is a master number. Yes, a 1 + 1 is a 2, and that is absolutely true. We're working toward peace again and unity. I love that. But look at this. 2 columns of light side by side, pulling in information from the ethers, pulling in more light. Your intuition will be on fire 100%. And it also can be another time if you don't get your feet under you in 2026, use the 11, the power number, to really start your project and get it going. 2026, you just might be putting the plan together and starting it, but by 2027, you're ready to roll. My book is called The Energy Almanac, and it runs from March of 2026 through March of 2027. To answer any questions about that, yes, that is my illustration on the cover. Please read this book. The phrase for 2026 is fresh start. It's all about impetus to go and having a plan, setting a foundation, using your spiritual practices, and starting something new. One of my ideas for 2026 is bravery. I talked a lot about Aries energies, and Aries are always going to be about developing courage. That's one of their sort of soul journeys, is to develop courage. So have bravery, employ it in your work, when whatever it is that you're initiating. Check on your willingness to lead. Find where Aries is in your chart and understand that's where change is happening for you. Understand that groups are definitely changing over the next few years. Find your tribe. It will matter. It 100% will matter. If you don't have, like, if there's nothing close, then start an online group, but find your people and hang with them. Technology is here to stay, like it or lump it. I know that sometimes we're just reluctant. Heck, I was the reluctant astrologer, and here I am delivering an astrology report to you. Digital is the future. It's here to stay. You might as well accept it and integrate it early. Ask yourself questions. What do you need to digitize? Spiritual practices are important. The astrology has been pulling us closer and closer and closer to source energy all the time. I think there's a reason Jupiter is amplifying our intuition. I think there's a reason that Uranus is in Gemini and forcing us to ask questions. Spiritual practices, being grounded, being in nature, being disciplined about your spirituality is really, really urgent. And I said it already a few times, and I'm just going to say it again. Grab an Energy Almanac. And what I want you to know, if you're not ready to buy a big book like mine, get the digital version for free. If you go to theenergyalmanac.com, look for the listings will pop up. There'll be, I think, 3 different listings. Find the one that says free digital almanac. It's going to give you January, February, and March astrology predictions for free. You will get a flavor of what it feels like to know, oh my gosh, this is what's happening this week. When you know and understand that there'll be road rage because Mars is active, or maybe you know that people are feeling highly emotional this week, that's going to help you maneuver through the week. Trust me, I get text messages and emails every single week where people say to me, how did you know? How did you know that was going to happen? I only am explaining what the astrology is offering. So the Energy Almanac is yours. Inside of, oh, whoops, P.S. If you are brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. So let go where you need to let go. It's all unfolding perfectly for you. Inside of the almanac, by the way, we have which gemstone should you carry, which essential oil should you use. We have an entire page for every single new moon and full moon. There are articles about Qigong, compassion, and a whole bunch of free links, all kinds of free downloads that you can get when you get the book. So I am on Instagram at Choose Big Change. My dear friend who helps write the human design inside of the book, she's Janet Hickok. She's at Living Astrology. And my final thing that I want to say, this episode of Astro Inklings is sponsored by the letters U and I. I am who I am because you are who you are. You and I are one. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop sharing.
Woo. Thank you. That was exactly like drinking out of the fire hose, but a lot of really, I liked that you kind of went by kind of highlights by the month and just kind of the overall themes. And I guess if somebody wants more specific information, you're available for sessions and Were you, did we talk about you having a special for Dowsers?
I actually do have a special. There's first of all, if you really don't want to read your own astrology chart, what I'm going to offer everybody is a $50 astrology reading for anybody who finds this video and writes to me for $50. I'm just going to do 30 minutes with you, and I'm going to pull your chart. We're going to talk about what I think is important inside of your chart. It might be your soul wound, it might be your karmic destiny. It will likely be how is Aries going to play out for you. There's a minor grand trine playing out for everybody this year. And I don't know why I didn't put it in there, but the minor grand trine, it's actually in your chart for 2 years and everybody has it. And it's lighting up a part of your chart that is going to find you innovating, transforming, and asking questions. And I've helped a lot of people already with this. It's really going to highlight where things are shifting for you. So for $50, all you have to do is send me an email. My name is Tam. I am Tam, and Tam I am. Tam at choosebigchange.com. You email me and you say Dowser, and just say I want the astrology reading, and I will offer you, when I'll write back to you and I'll say, well, do you want to know your birth chart, or do you want to know what Aries do you, and you'll tell me what you want, and for half an hour we'll get on a phone and we'll have a nice conversation. Yeah, that's the special offer.
That's great because I think it gives people an opportunity to sort of chunk down into something that they can really put their energy into this year.
Focus on and work on. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I really like to do. I really want it to be usable, and that's what's the great thing about the Energy Almanac. The information is usable. This week, do this. Make a list. Make a budget. I'm very specific with people. This is the week to make your budget. This is the week to rewrite your plan or whatever it is. I really like to get specific with people. I do private coaching, transformational coaching. If you have really big emotional work that you need to get clear on, I do that work. But I also do business coaching. I love taking solopreneurs and pushing them to go reach further, transform their business, maybe get online, maybe have their first ever nurture sequence to talk to people. So I love working with people. It's great fun. It's big work.
Wow, that sounds great. A lot of very helpful things that I know that we could all feel very supported in this coming year.
I see there's things in the chat. I don't know what they are.
Yes, one person was very disappointed to learn about the Farmers Almanac. She's
Me
been
too.
reading it for decades.
Yep. Yep.
And Nancy says, "Wow, your offer is generous. Thank you."
Yes.
We have several thank yous. Gail, thank you. Yeah, does anybody have a question? That's sort of a lot to sort of digest. I'm trying to think so I guess I'll start out with a question. I know in my natal chart, like Aries, I think is in my seventh house. So is that where it is, where there will be big change this year, or is it where does
So
everything keep?
that's seventh house is the house of relationships. So you're likely to experience something new starting in the house of relationships. And I would say there's a sense of autonomy that this is me in my own skin inside of relationships. That's how seventh house Aries will play out for you.
Well, it seemed like there was everybody kind of had that Aries energy, right? All that.
Everybody does. Every single human being has Aries energy someplace. It's just a matter of are there other planets close by that are going to affect it? Um, for me, Aries of all things is lit up in my house of creativity. So, like my art, I'll be like, I won't be able to sleep, I'm sure. Uh, so I know I can expect creative expression to be a big deal for me, and maybe even starting a new form of creative expression for me.
Mhm.
That's fifth house Aries. So everybody has Aries. Every human being. It's just where is it in your chart?
Well, and the it seemed like kind of monthly, it seems like, I don't know, that Aries energy was played a role in um, all these different aspects that were happening. I
Yeah.
guess collectively for
That-
all
That's
of us.
exactly right. Aries energy is highly prevalent in 2026. And Aries is first, so they start things. And that's why 2026 is the year of a fresh start. It's big Aries energy. It's fire horse energy. It's go time. It is go time, really, for the planet.
You know, it's funny. The end of last year, I was thinking about a word for this year, and what just came to me was bold. Um, and,
Bold is it?
and I'm kind of uncomfortable with that word. I just have to be perfectly honest. But I can see that that Aries energy is just going to really force all of us to be bold and really step outside our comfort zones and create a
Here's what I
fresh
love about
start.
what you said. You just said the word bold, which, first of all, bold is one of the key words for Aries. But you also said, I'm uncomfortable with that. This Neptune in Aries, Saturn in Aries is asking us to be brave enough, be bold enough to be comfortable in our own skin. You're going to be bolder than normal. Get comfortable now. Use your spiritual practices, that's Neptune in Aries, to get centered as you get bold. Use your Saturn energy, timing, planning. When you're bold, make sure those two things are in place, right? Bold is a perfect word for 2026.
Okay, you hear that, guys? It'll be kind of fun to do a follow-up just to kind of check in and go, wow, this is what this year's, yeah, it feels like it's going to be a very interesting year for personally and
Yeah, in the mundane
collectively.
world, yeah.
Yeah.
It's everybody's feeling it. And astrology, what's really nice about astrology is you can always look back and prove out all the transits. We know what happens when um, Venus is in Capricorn. If you look back and you were to track every Venus in Capricorn through history, you always know it's going to be related to this, this, and this. And that's what's really amazing about it is you can always prove it out and you can kind of get an idea for what might happen, what the potentials are.
But that's where I think you come in, Tam, because I don't know what that pattern is. You know what I mean? You've taken that information and you've translated it into boom, boom, boom. Look for these things. So, and I guess that's what the Energy Almanac does.
And that's what the Energy Almanac is exactly for. Something I didn't say at the beginning of the call that I typically try to say when people are asking about, why astrology? Um, the Greek word for psyche is soul. I don't know if you knew that, but the Greek word for psyche is soul. And really, your natal astrology chart is your soul blueprint. And you can figure out your skills and talents by looking at your chart. You can figure out good career choices, how relationships might play out, how family and foundation is going to affect you. Where are the hurdles? Where are the opportunities? Timing, everything. It's all there and it's mapped out really clearly. And it's playing out in your psyche. It's just whether or not you're willing to bring it forward. People, oh, it's voodoo, it's magic, astrology is all through the Bible. There's something like 428 references to astrology in the Bible. God said to us, be your own astrologer. Put those two words together, astrologer, astrologer. Log your stars to find out what your soul is here to do. It's all through the Bible. He put the moon and the stars in the sky to guide us. And it's a beautiful thing. And there's a whole other practice of biblical astrology that's really beautiful.
Wow. More things.
And more
More
things.
things I'm learning.
You can always
So,
go deeper. you can
yeah.
you can tell your health by astrology. I mean, Taurians are about hands, Sagittarians are about hips. Aries energy, if you have more headaches than normal or eyesight issues during these Aries, it's an Aries thing. That's where the pressure is for an Aries. It's in their head. Virgo are stomach problems, digestive issues. Every single zodiac sign has an associated health. concern.
Okay, this is like a fun little aside, but if you know about the cell salts or tissue salts,
Yes,
there's an astrological
yes,
component to that. And
totally.
if you're born in these certain times, right, under a certain sign, you will naturally benefit from certain cell salts.
Right. There's a whole book on that. That is
Yeah,
way
I,
over my head.
I found that I have that little book. It's like an
Good for
amazing
you.
little reference book. So
Yep.
anyway, all right. Well, this has been amazing. I could just keep chatting. It's fascinating to me. So I know everybody really enjoyed your information. I think it's going to take us a minute to sort of digest it
I
all,
don't
but
blame everybody. I apologize for fire hosing and like it's not enough time and you have to pick up the high. I don't know. I'm sorry if I fire hosed. I know that
you
I did.
know what? I I think most people could keep up with you, but and we've got the replay that people will be able to do that. So thank you so much, and thank everybody for tuning in.
I want to say one more thing before I go. I have one mission on the planet, and that is to help more people. Solid Virgo, I guess, right? I have one vision and one mission, and they're the same sentence. I want to help more people. If there's anything I can do, even if it's simply an email to answer a quick question, I'm glad to, and I'm very responsive to email, tam@choosebigchange.com.
Yeah, and that's that Aquarian vibe too.
Yeah, it
So
is. That's right.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Good night, everyone.